Alright, we got Harlem Gang War, The Death of Fries, East Army Story, EA, Douglas, Polo Grounds, East River versus question mark. Like after the whole G Papa video, this is what everybody wanted me to do.
Okay, we back in Harlem.
Here, let's go.
We are going to do the story and then go into a little bit of geography. You will get it later. We are starting with the death of Fries. His name has been bouncing around the drill scene as of recent, so we are going to give some insight. It was said to have happened like this. June 8, 2015. A teen was killed and 2 men were injured during a shooting in a parking lot of the East River houses. It was approaching the break of dawn of a Saturday morning. Anthony Fries, 18, and the 2 others were at 430 East 105th Street near 1st Avenue, about 4:33 a.m. when they were shot. Fries was pronounced dead at Harlem Hospital. A 30-year-old man and a 36-year-old were each shot in their right shoulders and treated at St. Luke's Hospital, where they were listed in stable condition. There were no immediate arrests. Investigators released footage of 2 men they were looking to question about the shooting. The pair can be seen walking through a heavy rain. One wore a black baseball cap, light-colored jeans and white sneakers. The other wore a black hoodie. Fries passed away 8 years ago at age 18. He was born on April 5, 1997, so today he would be 26 years old. He was said to be funny, and although he dived into the streets earlier, he was smart when it came to school. He was loved by many. Some say his death was wrong place, wrong time. Although the media said he resided in Queens, you might have also heard about him being from East River houses. From what we know, he was from Douglas houses, home of the sweepers. 8 years ago, there was no sweepers, but there was the Columbus Avenue Gunners. See, back in those times, there was an alliance known as the East Army. East Army operated in the vicinity of East 102nd through 106th Streets, between FDR Drive and 1st Avenue. They did have West Side links based on reason, such as common enemies or whatnot. According to officials, East Army included a combination of gang members from the East River houses and the neighboring Wilson houses, Fast Money, which was associated with the Polo Grounds Towers, and Columbus Avenue Gunners, associated with the Frederick Douglass houses. Here is a bird's eye view of what that looks like, and this is just the lower portion. Here is East River houses and the neighboring Wilson houses. East River was known to house members of the Crips. There was a blood presence here in the mid-2000s, including sex, money, murder, but the Crips dominate. Ooga was the big 60s Crip there, and a lot of guys in East River were under him. Ooga was killed by police during a robbery in Harlem. He has an interesting history and lineage, and we might have to elaborate in another video. Moving on to Douglas houses on Columbus Avenue, which is all the way across Central Park. There, it was the Gunners in Douglas houses, the YGs. Allegedly, there is dominantly a Bloods gang presence here, mostly hounds, and they affiliated with certain trendies and Stones. For instance, fallen Douglas member G Papa claimed the Stone Bloods. This is before the sweepers wave. As for Fries, he once said this in a video once.
What you jacking?
Big B's with no C's.
You look stupid.
I'm EA and CA.
For real?
Then you have Polo Grounds Towers, which is at the top of Harlem. It is located right across the street from the famous Rucker Park. They also went by the name Fast Money. The East Army had beef with the Gutta Gang, which was a unification of street crews who aimed at paying back East Army for the 2010 killing of a Gutta member known as Freeze. Law enforcement also said that the gangs that made up the Gutta Gang was the Two Deep Gang, known today as 2 Wu, based out of Harlem's Drew Hamilton houses, the OYG Gang, whose turf is based on Amsterdam Avenue between West 151st and 160th Streets. Get Money Boys, GMB. And the Make It Happen Boys, from Manhattanville. The media didn't mention anything about St. Nicholas projects, but they are linked to Drew Hamilton houses and are also 600 Gutta Gang. These hoods harbored Crips, Bloods, and Mac Bowlers. We can get specific
So wait, this whole video is just like everything Harlem related?
about Gutta Gang, but we are going to save that for another video. We will say though, the Gutta part of the name comes from Gutta, who was killed in May of 2015. He was a well-loved 2 Wu member. Anyway, East Army's other enemies included members of All Bout Money, ABM, associated with the Jefferson houses, and the Broad Day Shooters, BDS, associated with the George Washington Carver houses. Fries once put out a rap song under the name Fries Escobar, titled F the Ville, where he dissed Manhattanville, which heavily beefed with Grant houses, and whose members were responsible for the murder of Chicken. Chicken was from Queensbridge in Queens, as well as the Grant houses in Harlem. She was killed in 2011. When Fries died, there was Rip Fries and Chicken post on social media. This might mean that there was at least some alliance between Grant houses and Douglas houses, maybe due to a common enemy, Manhattanville. About 2 to 3 weeks after Fries was killed, another deadly shooting took place at the Polo grounds. The EBC basketball classic was going on at Rucker, and many people were in attendance, socializing and watching the game. Even when the final whistle was blown, people were still lingering around. 18-year-old Jordan, aka J.O., was standing with friends outside the Polo grounds after the Rucker game when another group of about 30 people approached them. Allegedly, words were exchanged and J.O. stepped in between the two crowds to try to calm the situation. Allegedly, one of the people in the large group had a gun. Shots then rang out and J.O. was struck with a bullet to the neck, which killed him. The reports that came in were positive that J.O. was a good kid and wanted to be a chef. He was one of several people who got shot that night, and his alleged killer was soon apprehended. Those who knew J.O. and Fries shared RIP post in their honor. 7 years after Fries' death, his killer was finally apprehended. In late November of 2022, a 25-year-old man, Tyrell Lewis, was taken into custody on the murder charge after he was identified as one of 2 men allegedly responsible for the murder of Fries and wounding of 2 others. Fries' killer was freed.
Isn't there a statute of limitation or something like that? Or is that something else?
2 years prior on an attempted murder rap, and his parole in that case. Fries' killer and allegedly responsible for the murder of Fries and wounding of 2 others. Fries' killer was freed 2 years prior on an attempted murder rap, and his parole in that case expired just 3 months before he was arrested for the Fries murder. Fries was fatally shot in the stomach at a parking lot in the East River houses, and officials did not immediately provide details on how investigators linked Lewis to the 2015 homicide. It was unclear if he was accused of being the shooter or accomplice. The media said Tyrell Lewis lived in East Harlem about 10 blocks from the East River houses, but never specified where. Word on the street, here the accomplice was a member of the Broad Day Shooters, a gang out of Washington houses. Within a year of Fries' death, Lewis was arrested on attempted murder charges in a separate case. The details of the case were not immediately disclosed. Lewis was convicted of the charge on May 1, 2017, and served 2.5 years in prison before his release on January 14.
I ain't gonna lie. Bro, like the last minute I have not been paying attention, bro. And that's why I can't be watching this video, because I be getting lost, because like, if I'm not 100% focused, we talking about something else. I'm so fucking lost now.
17, and served 2.5 years in prison before his release on January 14, 2020. His arrests in 2021 included a May bust for selling drugs,
Is he talking about Fries killer or Fries alleged
a September assault arrest for hitting a 24-year-old woman, and an October robbery in which he punched a 53-year-old woman in the face.
What the fuck?
He was released after all 3 alleged crimes, including 2 where the charges were not bail eligible. A few days after Fries' death, a shooting broke out at a memorial service for the slain teen. No one was hit, but 20 rounds were fired, police said. Additional shootings have occurred at the East River houses over the last few years, including one in March 2022, in which 2 15-year-old boys were shot by a woman as they left a community center in the housing project, police said. Both teens were hit in the legs and survived. There was also the East River Deadly Dice game, which we covered in a previous video. One article released was subtitled, "A Midget's Life Cut Short." More recently on the drill scene, Bronx rapper Dougie B and another rapper, Cos Miyagi, previewed a song which dissed G Papa, a fallen member from Douglas Houses, the home of the Sweepers. The Sweepers responded to Dougie B with a diss of their own, coming at Sev's side and in DOA. C Blue is a part of the Ray Way, Sev's side, DOA situation, and is on the same side as Dougie B. This is what he does.
Fuck Fries, nigga, we smoke 'em, nigga. Fuck Fries, nigga.
Yeah, remember, they cut that
A
out,
clear
right?
diss to Fries. In Harlem though, in the mid-2010s, people like Fries were a representation of the link-up between Douglas and East River houses, but things are a little different today. Douglas houses are still against the OYG gang, but another housing development in Harlem, Lehman Village, or LVLA, is also against the OYGs. The notable rappers from there are Porter Hound and Max Payne. They are currently incarcerated. Not much info on them, only that Max Payne will be home soon, and some say Porterhound will be home soon as well. The LV
Right.
is for Lehman Village, and the LA represents a fallen member of the crew. They used to call each other woes and shouted "Woe Day" when they pulled up to the scene.
Huh? Why you not playing with me? Stop playing with
In addition to their fallen member LA, Lehman Village honored Dizzle Loke, who was said to have created the "Woe Day" slogan and was allegedly a Hoover Crip. Today, there is said to be the presence of the Jet Blue Gang, a combination of hounds, which are Bloods, along with Crips, the
He bleeped it out or blurred it out for a reason.
GSC said of the Crips. Lehman Village, or LV, had heavy static with the Taft houses, also known as Arid Out, AIO, as well as East River houses, and this is where there may be a conflict. It is said that because Douglas and Lehman Village have OYG as a common enemy, they have linked up, which would be a direct slap in the face to East River on Douglas's behalf. Not sure how Douglas and East River's relationship is currently if this is true. Crazy things is, some of this could be cap. 9 years ago, Fries released a song with him and another dude, and one of them says RIP Ob Dizzle, referencing Dizzle Loke. So this might mean that Wody was cool with Douglas at some point around 2012, or that was just a personal relationship Fries had. To be honest, Harlem is nothing like the Bronx or Brooklyn in terms of shooting deaths. Things do ramp up in the summer, and some areas that were inactive for a while, due to indictments and such, are jumping back on the scene. But this about wraps this one up. We will re-release Chico Gang, who were also linked with LV, and we will do some more in-depth stories later. But as always, stay low and thanks for watching.
Damn, about to hit 40K. Shout out him. Damn, I don't want to promise anything, but like his view is entertaining. But bro, I just need to pick a time and just lock in and just really like. Cause what be fucking me up is when like they use the real names and then like I don't know, bro. Like it's not me zoning out, it's just like the AI be putting me to sleep. Yeah, the voice be killing me. Like no emotion whatsoever.